Welcome to a deep dive into this sermon from the Limocown Grand Mosque in Indonesia. It was delivered just a few days ago.
Okay.
On January 3rd, 2025.
Yeah.
By Buya Doctors H. Amrizal, D.T. Hang Basa, M.A.
Right?
You know?
Yeah.
Sometimes these sermons can be a bit, well, preachy.
Yeah.
But this one really struck a chord with me.
Interesting.
It's all about strengthening faith.
Okay.
In a world that seems to be spinning faster and faster.
That's that's a really fascinating topic. And what's really interesting about this sermon is that it doesn't shy away from the challenges that we're all facing right now.
Yeah.
You know, with the constant influx of information and these huge societal shifts that are happening. It acknowledges that maintaining a strong faith can be tough.
It is.
But it really suggests that it's absolutely vital for navigating the complexities of the modern world.
And the way that he frames it, comparing faith to the foundation of a building, is so powerful.
Yeah.
He says, when faith is weak, it's like a building with a shaky foundation. It could crumble at any moment.
Wow.
And it really got me thinking about my own foundation.
Right.
What are those core beliefs and values that keep me grounded? Are they strong enough to withstand the inevitable storms?
That's such a great analogy. And I think it resonates on so many levels. I mean, just think about it. A weak foundation leads to instability. And not just in a physical structure, but also in our own lives. I mean, if we don't have that strong inner compass, it's so easy to feel lost or swayed by external pressures. And I think what the sermon is suggesting is that faith provides that anchor, that sense of stability in a world that can often feel very chaotic.
Absolutely. And it's not just about personal grounding either. He goes on to emphasize the importance of good manners and respect, which are deeply ingrained in Minangkabau culture. He even shares a traditional saying.
Just saying.
Kado mandaki, kado mandada, kato menurun, kato maloreng. Which basically means you communicate respectfully with everyone. Regardless of their age or status.
Interesting.
It's such a simple but profound concept.
It is.
Especially in today's world where online interactions can be so divisive.
It's true. And it's a very timely reminder, I think, that respect is really the cornerstone of a harmonious society. I think about it. In the digital age, we are constantly bombarded with different viewpoints. Often presented in a very aggressive or disrespectful way. And it's so easy to get caught up in that negativity. And forget the importance of civil discourse.
Exactly.
So I think the sermon is really challenging us to break free from that cycle. And really choose respect even when we disagree.
But how do we do that? It's easy to say be respectful. But putting it into practice, especially online, can be a whole other challenge.
That's where I think the concept of manners comes in. You can think of manners as those guidelines for respectful interaction, a set of social tools that can help us navigate those potentially difficult conversations. And it's not about being stuffy or overly formal, but really just about showing consideration for others, even in the heat of a debate. And this is where I think the sermon gets really interesting, because it suggests that good manners aren't just a matter of social etiquette, but they're actually a reflection of our inner faith and values.
So if I'm understanding correctly, the sermon is suggesting that strong faith translates into respectful behavior. It's like our inner beliefs inform how we interact with the world around us.
Exactly. And that connection between faith and manners is particularly relevant when we think about raising a generation grounded in those same values. And the sermon highlights how kids today are maturing faster because they're exposed to information so early, which makes it even more crucial to instill these core values from a young age. But the question is, in a world full of distractions and conflicting messages, how do we do that?
And that's not an easy question to answer.
No, it's not.
We're constantly bombarded with messages from social media advertising.
It's true.
Just the general pace of life. How do we cut through all that noise and help the next generation develop a strong moral compass?
Well, it's definitely a multifaceted challenge.
Yeah.
And the sermon really emphasizes the role of parents, communities, and education in shaping a child's moral foundation. It's about creating an environment where those values are not just taught, but they're lived and modeled for young people.
But it's not just about shielding young people from negative influences.
Right.
They're going to encounter different viewpoints and challenges no matter what.
They are.
The sermon also touched on some pretty complex contemporary issues.
Okay.
Like the LGBTQ plus rights movement.
Yes.
Which the speaker sees as a potential challenge to traditional faith.
And what's interesting here is that the sermon doesn't just dismiss these different viewpoints or condemn them. It acknowledges that these are complex issues that are often viewed very differently through various cultural and religious lenses. The speaker even references Russia's stance against legalizing LGBTQ plus rights to illustrate how this particular issue is perceived within a specific context.
It's a reminder that these conversations can be sensitive.
They are.
And require a nuanced approach, especially when we're talking about deeply held beliefs and values.
Yes.
It's about finding a way to engage in respectful dialogue, even when viewpoints differ drastically.
And that's where I think the connection between faith and manners comes full circle. If we can approach these conversations with genuine respect, with a willingness to listen and understand, even if we don't agree, we can create a space for meaningful dialogue.
It's such a crucial point.
It is.
It's so easy to get caught up in this us versus them mentality, especially online.
Especially online.
But the sermon is reminding us that even in the face of disagreement, we can choose to engage with respect and empathy.
And that choice, that commitment to respectful dialogue is ultimately a reflection of our own values. Our own foundation, if you will. It's about recognizing that even amidst our differences, we share a common humanity.
Okay, so we've talked about the importance of a strong foundation.
Yes.
The role of manners and respect. And the challenges of raising a faithful generation. In a complex world.
In a complex world, yes.
Where do we go from here? What are some of the key takeaways that you think we should be focusing on?
One of the things that really struck me was the sermon's emphasis on prayer as a central pillar of faith. The speaker highlighted how prayer is often the first thing that people neglect when life gets busy or challenging.
And he wasn't just talking about adults, was he?
No, he wasn't.
He specifically mentioned the importance of teaching children about prayer from a young age.
Absolutely.
But it makes me wonder, in today's world, where kids are exposed to so much information so early, how do we ensure that they actually understand the significance of prayer? It can't just be a rote action, right?
And I think it goes back to the idea of creating an environment where faith is not just taught, but lived and experienced. It's about showing children how prayer can be a source of comfort, guidance, connection.
It's about helping them develop a personal relationship with their faith.
Exactly.
Rather than just following a set of rules or rituals.
Precisely. And that's where I think the role of family and community gets so vital. It's about creating a supportive network where children can explore their faith, ask questions, develop their own understanding.
It sounds like we're talking about creating a culture of faith. Where it's not just something you do on Fridays or during religious holidays, but an integral part of daily life.
Exactly. And the sermon touches on that when it talks about the need for a healthy environment to protect young people from negative influences, particularly those found online.
It's interesting, though, because he's not advocating for complete isolation or censorship. He's not saying keep kids away from the internet entirely.
No.
It's more about equipping them with the tools and guidance
to
navigate the complexities of the digital age without compromising their values.
It's like we wouldn't just hand a young person the keys to a car without teaching them how to drive. We'd make sure they have proper instruction, practice, and awareness of the rules of the road. And it's the same with the online world. We need to help young people develop those critical thinking skills, the discernment, and the moral compass to navigate that landscape safely and responsibly.
So it's about empowering them to make informed choices.
Yes.
Rather than simply trying to control or restrict their access to information.
Absolutely.
Which, let's face it, is pretty much impossible in today's world. It really is.
And that sense of empowerment is crucial.
It is.
Because it fosters a sense of ownership over their faith.
Exactly.
It's not just something that's imposed on them, but something they choose to embrace and integrate into their lives.
It becomes part of who they are.
It's about helping them build that strong foundation we were talking about earlier.
Yes.
A foundation that can withstand the challenges and temptations they're inevitably going to encounter.
And that ties back to this overall theme of strengthening faith in a changing world. It's not just about preserving tradition or clinging to the past. It's about equipping individuals, especially young people, with the resilience and moral grounding to navigate the complexities of the present and the future.
You know, it's interesting because the sermon also offered some guidance on how to approach the new year. It wasn't just about abstract concepts of faith and morality.
It got very practical, encouraging self-reflection and the setting of resolutions.
And that's what makes it so relatable. It connects these big, sometimes overwhelming ideas for everyday lives. You know, the speaker urges listeners to ask themselves, where have we come from? And what do we want to achieve for ourselves and our families in the future?
It's such a simple but powerful prompt.
It is.
It's like a gentle nudge to pause, take stock, and consider where we're headed.
Yeah, we get so caught up in the day-to-day.
The day-to-day hustle.
Yes.
And we forget about the bigger picture.
Exactly. And he specifically highlights strengthening faith, upholding good morals. Increasing religious devotion as key areas to focus on. You know, it's not just about setting those generic goals like lose weight or learn a new skill. It's about aligning our resolutions with our core values, with that foundation we've been talking about.
So it's like saying, okay, how can I use this new year as an opportunity to build a stronger me?
Exactly.
A me that's grounded in my faith and committed to living a more meaningful life.
And the sermon reminds us that this journey of self-improvement isn't a solo endeavor. It's about seeking guidance, support, inspiration from our faith community, from our families, from those who share our values.
It's about recognizing that we're all in this together.
We are.
Navigating the complexities of the modern world.
Yes.
And trying to make sense of it all.
And in that journey, faith can be a powerful source of comfort, direction, and strength. You know, the sermon closed with this beautiful message of hope and a prayer for guidance and protection in the year ahead.
That's nice.
It was a reminder that even in the face of challenges, faith and a strong moral foundation can offer solace and direction.
It's interesting because we often think of sermons as being about rules or restrictions, but this one felt very different.
It did.
It was more about empowerment, about equipping us with the tools and the mindset to navigate the world with confidence and purpose.
It's about recognizing that faith isn't static or rigid. It's a living, breathing thing that can evolve and adapt to the changing times. And as we grow and evolve, so too does our understanding of faith and its relevance in our lives.
So what does this all mean for us? What are some practical steps we can take to integrate these insights into our own lives?
I think it starts with that self-reflection the sermon encouraged. Take some time to really consider your own foundation. What are those core beliefs and values that guide your decisions and actions? Are they strong enough to withstand the pressures and temptations of the modern world?
It's like doing an inventory of your inner landscape.
Yeah.
Identifying those areas where you might need to strengthen your foundation.
Exactly.
Or reinforce your commitment to your values.
And once you've done that inner work,
okay,
think about how those values translate into your interactions with others.
Mm-hmm.
Are you embodying those principles of respect and good manners in your daily life, both online and offline?
It's about walking the walk.
It is.
Not just talking the talk.
Precisely. And remember, it's not about being perfect or judgmental. It's about striving to be the best version of ourselves. A version that's grounded in our faith and committed to creating a more just compassionate and respectful world. And remember, this journey of faith is ongoing. It's not a destination we arrive at, but a path we continuously walk.
And the sermon encourages us to embrace that journey with a spirit of curiosity, a willingness to learn and grow, and a commitment to living our values in a way that makes a positive impact on the world around us.
You know, as we're talking, I'm struck by the fact that this sermon, delivered in a mosque in Indonesia, speaks to these universal human experiences.
It does.
The challenges of maintaining faith, raising a generation grounded in value, navigating complex social issues.
Yes. And it taps into these shared human longings for meaning, connection, and purpose.
Yeah.
And it reminds us that even in a world that can often feel divided, we're more alike than we are different.
It's like a call to action.
A reminder that we have the power to choose how we respond to the challenges and opportunities of our time.
We do.
We can choose to build bridges of understanding, to engage in respectful dialogue, and to create a world where everyone feels seen, heard, and valued.
And remember that powerful question the speaker posed towards the end of the sermon. What will we bring for ourselves and our families in the future?
It's a challenge to consider not just our own personal growth, but also our contribution to the collective good.
It is.
It's about recognizing that our actions, however small they may seem, have a ripple effect.
They do.
On the world around us. And that by living our values with intention and integrity, we can create a more just, compassionate, and hopeful future for ourselves, for our families, and for generations to come.
I think that's a beautiful note to end on.
I agree.
Yeah.
So as you move forward from this deep dive, I hope you'll carry these insights with you. Take some time to reflect on your own foundation, on those core values that guide your life. Think about how you can embody those values in your interactions with others, even in the face of disagreement. And remember that you have the power to make a positive impact.
You do.
However big or small on the world around you. Thanks for joining us on this journey.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, keep diving deep.